What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about a guy who got his fucking ex back. Awesome stuff, right? So what I want to point out to you is what this guy did right. I don't want to go into the entire thing. You guys don't have time for that shit. Watch enough of my videos if you guys are fans of mine to understand what I'm looking for in getting your ex back and advice and stuff like that. But what this guy did is he listened. Step number one, this guy took extreme ownership of his issues that he did. And he took a look back at his life and he was like, okay, what did I do wrong? And what do I need to fix? See, even a lot of prideful guys will be like, I don't think I did anything wrong. I think I did everything perfect. And it's like, women don't dump men they're in love with. That is a fact. They don't do it. They don't want you out in the ether to go get picked up by some other beautiful women. They don't want that. They're territorial like that, okay? They want to keep a really high value man around. So when a guy starts acting like a bitch, who starts getting weak, what do you think she does? She's like, next. So what did this guy do? He took extreme ownership. He took a look at everything and he was like, all right, I'm going to fix everything that I did wrong. And he told her to. I didn't tell him to do this. He did this on his own. He said, hey, baby, I got some shit to fix. I realize it's not going to change overnight. I realized that I was not the man that I could have been. I wasn't living up to my potential. I wasn't the right guy in your eyes. I started off here and I ended up here. That may sound weak to a lot of guys that watch this, but it was not at all. It was an admission that he did something wrong. And what he said to her was, I'll change, but I'm changing for me because I want to be a better man. I ain't changing for you. You are here because you want to date a guy who is a strong-centered man. He didn't say this part to her, but that's what she's looking for. And he said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. If you want to come back, great. If not, that's also great too. But I realized where I went wrong. That's the manliest fucking thing you can do. Admit that you were wrong and make the changes. So that's what he did. He's like, okay, I got to fix all this stuff. Where do I start? That's when we did our coaching call and all that. That's where extreme ownership takes such a great place in the people who get success in life with their girls, fucking businesses and shit like that. So what else did he do right? Extreme action. So when we got done our call, I said step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so on. And I kept going forward and just kept pushing. I kept telling him more and more shit. He wrote it all down. He's like, okay, I'll get to work. And we kept speaking and talking. And, I kept talking to him and kept, redirecting a little bit. He was really good. Not going to lie. He was very dedicated to becoming a better version of himself because he knew. And also one little tip, most of the time breakups happen because of complacency or insecurity. One of the two. Short-term relationships, it tends to be insecurity because she starts to see your insecurity through the months, right? She gets to see how needy you are through all the texting that you do, usually. And that's like 99% of why girls break up with guys is fucking too much goddamn texting early in the relationship. The next thing is complacency. Complacency usually kills long-term relationships, okay? So, a few years together and they stop dating. And really what ends up happening with relationships in that end, the man stops being a leader. He stops trying to take care of the attraction process. The attraction process is non-stop. It keeps going forever. It doesn't end. Just like Corey Wayne says, what does he say? Courtship never ends. It never stops. It never ends. And you constantly have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, you can chill for a little bit, but you have to always make sure that your woman is in that state of bliss when it comes to you. Now, is she going to live her life and experience things that are going to piss her off and make her upset? Of course. But who is she going to lean on when life gets a little too tough for her? You. So how are you supposed to be the best man that she's going to go out with if you're weak? We all of us men have the burden of performance. We all have to perform. So make sure that you're constantly taking a look at yourself in the mirror. Like I always say in all of my videos, I feel like a broken record. And fix what you need to fix. Get stronger. Because this world is a cold goddamn place. It's cold. Nobody cares about you. Which is exactly why this YouTube channel exists. Because I pulled myself out of being the weakest version of myself. And now I'm stronger every day. Extreme ownership and extreme action are the two things that he did right. And guess what? She messages him. She texts him. She's like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? And instead of going into like, you know, all the shit that he's been going into and all this and how are yous and all the dumb platitudes, he was like, I'm actually free right now. Do you want to just get together for a minute? See, and the thing is, guys are so afraid to screw this part up that they won't do it. They get paralyzed. And I'm like, dude, like, you did it perfectly. I would have done it a little bit differently, right? I would have set it up for a couple days, but I mean, it worked for him. It was perfect. So they met up, didn't talk about anything negative, didn't talk about anything at all that had to do with what he was doing except for the positivity during the breakup. Talked purely about her. That's one of the best things you can do to get somebody to like you. Talk about them, right? Don't ever talk about yourself. Talk about them. What are they interested in? And go into it. And that's how you know if you're compatible with somebody, because if you can talk about them all over and over, you can find out if they're boring or not. Little did he realize is that she didn't do a whole lot when they were apart. She just sat around and kind of just fucked around a little bit, puttered around. And he did all this work, and he was talking about it. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Like, it seems like I did all this work and she didn't do anything. And and this is what happens. You start to see her in a different light. You start to see her differently because you're improving yourself constantly and she's not. And you're sitting here going, what the fuck? Like, you know, that's why I got to find a partner who will grow with you. But anyway, they went on a little like coffee date, short date, didn't mean much, right? Then he turned it into another date later on that same day. So instead, when they finished coffee, it was going great. And she's like, well, I don't really want to leave. Everything's I'm having fun. And that's what the purpose of that is, to see where she is, to see where the body language is. How is she acting towards you? So they went on another date. And that date was, you know, the nail in the coffin. So he took her back home and they did what they do, and they did what they did. And everything's kind of back to normal now. And he's messaging me once in a while and he's like, hey, look, like, let's just, for the sake of this video, call him Ray. He's like, dude, like, what do I do now? I'm like, you just keep learning and don't get complacent, right? A really, really cool default position to go to when everything's going great, when you're with your woman, is set your dates, go to work, go hang out with your friends. And when you're with your woman, you're with your woman, okay? Pay attention to her. Do good by her. Do right by her, right? Take her out, do fun things, have fun, right? Don't ever forget that relationships are just compilations of moments between, you know, one moment on Monday, another moment on Wednesday, another moment on Saturday. That moment, I shouldn't say moment because moment is a short thing, but let's just say like it's from one date or one night to another night or day or whatever. Interaction, let's use that. It's one interaction to another interaction. So in between each interaction, you leave her the fuck alone. Unless you live together, you know you got to have that little bit of time, like, you know, where you kind of just see each other a little bit. But you got to get out of each other's space. Force it to happen. Because what's going to happen is she's going to be forced to miss you. And then when she misses you, she ain't dumping you. I mean, like, she can, that can happen. But I mean, if everything's going great in your relationship, getting her to miss you in the relationship while everything's great will happen. And it's great. It's great to get somebody in that. Because they're not looking for anybody else. Now they're like, hey, like, what's my man up to? What's he doing? And that's what you guys need to focus on. So I know this video is longer. I wanted it to be shorter, but I ramble. And but I really wanted to drive these points home. I wanted to keep my videos between 3 to 5 minutes long, but this video went on a little bit longer because it needed some backstory. So if you guys want coaching with me, it's all down below. And pick up the books that are down below in the links as well. So these books are the staples that I think that you guys should read or look into when it comes to, you know, your self-development and all this stuff. That's it, guys. Take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next video. And check out my blog as well, masculineenergy.net/blog. Done.